So first of all, this is a Weave sponsored review. So if there's questions throughout the course of the review and you have questions about the software or technology mentioned, you can always click on the button at the very top that says request a Weave demo. For those that are watching on demand, you can see the similar button on the webpage in which you're browsing and viewing the content. Secondly, we will have an interactive chat. We encourage any questions to be posted just within the chat, or you can do the messaging system within the chat function as well. And we will both try to respond to those in the course of the content, as well as in the end, there'll be some time for some Q&A. Okay, so we're getting some great responses. My name is Ryan White. I'm a senior marketing manager over here at Weave, and I have been working with advertising and Google reviews for a very long time. And today I have the privilege to talk about the very fun topic about the art, because I like to believe it's a little bit of an art, as well as the science of review management, how to increase and respond to customer reviews. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about 3 different strategies. We're going to talk about strategies for increasing the total number of reviews that your office and your company has, as well as strategies for responding to positive reviews, why that is important, and responding to negative reviews and why that is critically important as well. Okay, so before we jump into that content, just a quick overview for those that haven't really grasped the full importance of reviews. 92% of customers look at reviews when considering a business. In fact, even your marketing efforts outside of your reviews, you send out a marketing ad, direct mail, whatever it is, they'll go to your website. But one of the other things that customers are checking, 92% of them, is your reviews. They're trying to gauge, is what you say match with what you do? You have your advertisement, what you say you do. Now they're trying to match that with what do customers actually say you do and how you do. What is the experience and the expectation that they create? 80% of those customers trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations. That is huge. 50 years ago, the best business model was get the recommendation from family and friends. It is still a great business model, but what we're seeing is that circle of family and friends has expanded dramatically to now people trust other people's experiences with businesses and companies. Lastly, 73% of consumers only pay attention to reviews written in the last month. I'd love to say we can just get all the positive reviews, spend all this time doing it, and then put it to bed. But the truth is, one of the main things that people look for in reviews is not only the rating and the star, but how frequent it is and how relatable it was. If you have a positive 5-star review, but it's like 4 years ago, it is a positive experience, but the customer also will ask, does your business reflect the same business this was 4 years ago? So we're going to talk a little bit about why those strategies are important. And the first and foremost, it's an interesting psychological development, but customers are 50% more likely to share bad experiences than they are to share good experiences. So this is an uphill battle. If someone has a bad experience in your office, with your company, they are much more likely to go on proactively themselves and share a bad experience rather than if someone has a great experience. If they have a great experience, they may tell their friends about it, mention it, but to actively go through the work of finding your company, finding your review site, leaving a review is much less likely. And that's because psychologically, people remember negative experiences stronger than positive ones. And so you have to remember that you're battling this, that the voices that have bad experiences are going to be possibly much louder than the ones that have good experiences. And the best way to battle that and strategically combat it is you have to try to increase the number of positive reviews, increase the frequency of those positive reviews coming in. So how do you do that? 1, ask everyone. I know it seems simple, but it's true. Sometimes the most important things aren't hard. They're simple, but you just have to do it a lot. So ask everyone. I like asking people in person, when they're in your office, you can tell they had a good experience. Say, thank you so much for coming in. We value your business. Would you mind? Would it be so great to us if you can just go in and give us a review of your experience? By simply asking them, you're committing them to that in person and in face. But there are also lots of different ways to follow up on that commitment. And that goes to step number 2, make it simple. If a customer feels like they have to jump through hoops in order to leave a review, if they have to go home, if they have to search up your company and they have to find it both on Facebook or Google, etc., it's just more work and more effort. And while they may have enjoyed the experience, they might drop out throughout that process. So what you want to do is simplify it. Make it as simple as possible. One click if possible. Number three, incentivize customers. By having that one-on-one conversation, you provide that avenue. You're incentivizing them. You're telling them how much it means to you. But there is also the avenue of potentially incentivizing them in different ways, by potentially giving price discounts or something of that nature if they show proof of review. So these are just three basic strategies that have been very effective with many businesses across many industries on consistently getting a flow of positive reviews. Ask everyone, keep it simple, and even give people a little bit of a carrot to do so. So with technology, we help with all three of those areas. One, you want to simplify, you want to ask everyone, we can help that. But the more important one is we can simplify the process. You can send a simple review text link that sends them directly to Google and Facebook. They don't need to search for anything. They click on a link and already they're there ready to fill it out. We had one dental office that increased their reviews by 750% in like 3 months by simply sending out a text, and it worked. I had another doctor who mentioned that he liked to selectively choose who he would send review links to. And it was great. They were getting positive reviews. They just weren't coming as frequently as he wanted. So finally he said, you know what? Let's just send reviews to everyone. We're going to automate the process. After they visit us, what they're going to do is we're going to send them that automated text link just like we do when we select people. And what he saw was that the 4 times the amount of 5-star reviews they were getting a month just by automating the process, which means customers and patients he was previously not selecting to send a review link for because he didn't think, oh, maybe they won't be the best experience and I don't want that reflected in my rating. He was wrong. He was getting positive ratings across the way. And even if he wasn't, the more important thing is, are you going to use reviews only for advertising, or do you realize that these also are a great avenue for feedback on where you can improve? And that comes to the last one, managing reviews. So you can manage all your reviews from one platform. Instead of having multiple tabs open, multiple windows, and having to go to Facebook and see where your reviews are, respond there, then someone responded on Google and you have to go there. Software puts it all in one place. So you can see reviews that come in, different platforms, and manage them in one place. So let's talk about the fun part. We get a 5-star review. We work for that. It's validation that you did something right, that you delivered the experience and met every one of the expectations of the patient and customer. So what do? Is that the end goal? It's not. In fact, that is, if you choose it as the end goal, you're going to miss out on so much of the power of reviews. So one, you need to make sure you're responding to customers. You need to respond to all good reviews and respond quickly. Then you want to ask the reviews that use their review, and then you're going to use the reviews everywhere you can. So let's talk about, responding. Why is it important to respond to 5-star reviews? Didn't you get a positive review? You only respond to negative ones? No, it's important as a business to show that you are engaged with the customer in all aspects, not just when they come into the office, but if they have questions, if they text you, call you, and even on reviews, if they leave a review, you're responding and replying back. So reply to them. Thank them for their business, their patronage. Mention the positive things your company did. Re-emphasize some of the things that may be mentioned in the review. And make sure you're throwing in your business name there. That helps Google recognize a lot of the services which you provide in a positive effort, because it's also in the reviews and it could help your ranking. So mention positive specific services you provided, your business name, and also just thanking the customer. And most importantly, do it quickly. Don't wait a week or two to do this. If you get a positive review, reply quickly, because the customer can see that timestamp on when you responded to them. And it shows, if you have a quick timestamp, meaning if you are responding quickly, it means that you are engaged with the customer, just like you want them to be engaged with you. So we want to also utilize those good reviews. So when you have good reviews, you want to showcase them wherever you can on websites. So they have lots of widgets that you can show, current reviews and positive ones. And people, as they're browsing your website, can already jump to the reviews you want them to see. You can use it on social media. You can have posts where you're bragging about how great your customers are, how thankful you are. I like businesses that refocus the attention to the customer. Instead of saying, look how great we are and all the wonderful reviews we have, more of a redirect and say, you know what, look how great our customers are. We love them. Thank you so much for your patronage. We love serving you guys in our community. And then when you can, and this is why it's important to ask a customer if you can use their review, because when you're asking them, you can dig deeper. You can say, hey, tell me about this experience. Tell me a little bit more. And then you may end up developing a whole customer story about, something interesting that happened that day before they came into you, and that's something that happened afterwards. You end up telling the customer story, and potentially even with pictures and video, which is a very powerful marketing tool. Okay. We love the good reviews. We crave them. We strive for them. But then there are the 1-star reviews. They occur, and the first thing you have to remember is this is common. Every company has a 1-star, every company has bad reviews. And it's actually a good thing to have at least some bad reviews. And the reason why is people are actually skeptical of business and practices if they don't have a 1-star review. They may question how these reviews are coming in, and if there's no negative experiences potentially. It's an odd phenomenon where there's a study showing that people are more skeptical of people that had a 5.0 star rating than those that had 4.8s, 4.7s, and 4.6s. And they were much more likely to patronage the 4.7, 4.8. So what you remember is you're getting positive reviews, easy to interact with, you're excited. But every review, positive or negative, is an advertisement for your business. The 5 stars are easy ads. These are customers saying the things you kind of want them to say. But the 1-star reviews are still an ad for your business. But more importantly, it's your opportunity to put your copy in. It's your opportunity to add more dialogue into it. And what I mean by that is, what is your response to 1-star reviews? And that in itself is an advertisement of your customer service. When people see what happens when things go wrong, how does this company reply? How does this company engage with the customer when the expectations aren't met? That review, and more importantly, because people see not only the negative review, they receive your responses. You are essentially putting your customer services on display. So a couple things to remember. One, your reply tells the other half of the story. We all know there's 2 halves of the story. Sometimes there's more, but you want to respond just like 5 stars, respond quickly. Make sure you're not letting this linger forever, and respond quickly. Now, one note on that, make sure you at least take a breath. Don't just, when you get that 1-star review, you read it, you're, mad, you want to pull out the punching gloves, your boxing gloves, you're ready to go to it. Take a breath, react, don't respond out of reaction. Think about it, then respond quickly in the sense of not letting it be ignored. Keep calm and professional. That's part of that waiting process. Wait, if it needs like 2 minutes, if you need an hour, that's okay. But then you want to, in the course of your response, ask questions and investigate a little bit. Show that you are inquiring to learn more, and give the customer context. This is a great one. I saw this, I believe this is a audiology clinic. The customer was very mad because they thought that the advertisement they had was very misleading. It talked about hearing loss being linked to old age, and they were really frustrated about it, and then put out their frustrations on the business through this 1-star review. And you can see the response from the owner was like, very sorry you feel that way. We were just citing a prestigious medical center study. They in no way wanted to reflect that message, offered that olive branch, and hoping to have a great day. This is a response where they can see there's nothing they're going to do that's going to win this customer back. And winning the customer back may not be the most important thing. It may be more important just to show, how do you respond? Do you respond professionally? Do you respond calmly? Or do you sink to that same level and start throwing jibes, and insults back? Show your customer service. This is another one. Bad reviews offer the opportunity for damage control. So if a mistake was made on your end, you need to own up to that mistake or complaint. People like to see people or businesses own up to any mistakes. They realize that just like people, they make mistakes, and show an effort to remedy the problem and solve it in the future. And I love this one. I came here, this horrible location. Here's what happened at a vet clinic. They had a dog that came in. They were always booked, and they can never really respond to them. But the response from the owner is fantastic. She says, thank you for choosing us. First of all, just thank you for coming to us. We apologize about the terrible experience. That's not what we're aiming for. We truly appreciate you letting us know about your experience, and we'd like to better understand what happened during the visit. So here you can see they want to make an effort to remedy a situation, but they're also doing something very important. They're providing an avenue to take that conversation offline. If there's you don't want a lot of back and forth. You don't want an entire conversation happening of everything that went wrong on your business on your review page. But you do want to show that you are responding, you're listening, you want to understand better, and you want to figure out how to make a remedy for that. This, once again, is important for that individual customer, that individual customer's problem gets solved. But once again, you're responding to bad reviews, not just for one customer. You're responding to all future potential customers that are looking at your reviews. They'll look at the 5s, they look at the 1s, and they're saying, how does this business respond when something bad happens? And by showing that, hey, you reached out, you provide an avenue to contact them, and you really tried to solve the situation, that is a glaring and wonderful example of customer service. And it's the best way to do it on your review page. So how do you respond? If you're like me, you have ideas. If it's just starting a sentence or starting a response is the hardest part, and you just need a little bit of help to nudge along the way. The cool thing is software is starting to use that. And as AI becomes more used within the business space as well as personal space, it's going to start bridging a lot of those gaps. So you can use AI like ChatGPT and others to develop and share templates on how you want to respond. So whether you use the AI to create up with these opportunities or these responses and you save those somewhere, or if your software enables AI, you can have that to help generate a few ideas on how do you create the wording and verbiage. And the cool part is you can just press, response, give me an idea on how to start. And then from there, you can go in, change it, personalize it to the customer situation. But the idea is this doesn't have to be hard. You can get some help along the way. There's a way that you may usually respond to it, but is there a way that you can have a little bit of help on AI that has seen other situations like yours? And so if you're like me and you just need a little help, a little bit of nudge, and then once it gets started, you're like, oh, I know exactly what I want to say. And you kind of edit and change it. Use AI, use technology to benefit you and to help your whole situation. So that is a very condensed version. I wanted to keep it under 20 minutes so that we have some time for back and forth. But I'm going to go ahead. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and link them into the chat at this time period. But I wanted to just emphasize reviews are a very powerful marketing engine and a very useful one to use, not only to continually get them and increase them, but also use them as an avenue to get feedback from your customers, see what they are see how they value you and what services they value the most, as well as using negative reviews as a way to showcase customer service. Ideally, limit them, but at the same time, remember, responding to reviews is not just for that one customer, it's for everyone. And if you have questions on how software can help you increase those number of reviews or simplify the response process, you can click on any of the information I showcased earlier or request a demo if you're on the live version or on the website. Thank you once again for attending, and we'll jump to some of the Q&A. Well, first of all, I want to acknowledge there's some people in the chat that have some amazing amount of reviews. This is awesome. We love seeing these numbers above 100. Sometimes I work with offices and they've got about 6, and we're like, okay, we're going to try to build that up immediately. So like seeing the hundreds on there. First question I have is, isn't it illegal to incentivize reviews? Yes, it is illegal to incentivize specific reviews. It's not illegal to incentivize the review process. For example, it is illegal and you can't get in trouble for it if you say, if you leave a 5-star review, I will do this. And so it's kind of a quid pro quo situation. You're saying, if you do exactly this, I will give you that. Whereas if you say, hey, if you leave us a review and you let them leave a positive review, negative review, it doesn't matter. You're incentivizing the effort that they're taking in order to leave a review, not focused on the result of that review. So no, it is not illegal to ask people to leave reviews. Yes, it is illegal, and make sure you don't do it, to say, I will do something for you financially, beneficially, etc., if you leave a 5-star review. So very good question. Is there a way to exclude certain appointment types from automatic review requests? For example, euthanasia appointment. This is a great question because sometimes you have services that require, you want that automatic communication, but then there's some appointments where it's like, oh, I don't want this to be, I don't want to be reminding someone about their euthanasia appointment and, requesting a review from that process. Yes, there is. There are some software gifts. Now it depends on what software you're using, but technology can, and if not, then it is important to be intentional about those processes. But that brings up a very good point. Whatever strategy it is that you want to do to build up reviews, whether you're going to automate the entire process or you're going to stratify it a little bit and select and choose who you send reviews to, just make sure that you are finding a strategy, testing it out, and then implementing it, and maybe talk about it. Have a meeting a month later and see how did we do. Should we try out a little strategy and see if it differs? So yes, there is. They had a one. This next question is a little bit longer. Hold on one second. Okay, so this is a great question. So this is a question from a vet clinic that talks about a terrible experience where it's hard to share the full details of everything that happened in the course of this bad experience. How do you respond to that? This obviously will be a case by case situation. On this one, you have to judge and figure out how much information do I let out to the entire public versus how much do I have. What I would do is respond and give context in a general sense for the response to the review, but make sure you say, hey, there's some other things I want to talk to you about this bad experience, that I just don't want to make sure I want to talk privately to respect your privacy and your HIPAA. If it's a vet, less about that, but in other areas where there are some details that potentially could violate HIPAA violations if you were to explain them. Just make sure you're talking about it in a general sense, but provide that avenue to give very specific context, whether they call you, they come in, email, etc. But provide that personal one-on-one opportunity on how to respond to it. The other thing I want to mention with bad reviews, specifically if they get really nitty-gritty, there are sometimes you will get inflammatory or just blatantly false reviews. Now, the systems understand this. They understand that not every review is going to be truthful. They understand that there may be some malicious intent behind a review, specifically like whether it be just a competitor that comes in and leaves a false review or a malicious content on something else. And you do have the ability to flag those reviews. And as it goes through the flagging process, those reviews can be removed from your overall review system. So when you have something that does have a lot of information that's a little bit more sensitive and or in the context of it's a little bit harder to share, try to provide a general context, some of the situations leading up to it, but ultimately please leave an avenue for them to talk to you. I say, you know what, I've got some details I wanted to talk to you about on this. Please give me a call at your convenience, or what number is best to call you. That way you can share the information, you can talk about it. The important part for responding to reviews is you may not win back every customer. In fact, maybe that's not even the whole goal, is to win back every customer and fix and repair that situation. We love it. But the important part of responding to bad reviews are to show everyone, not just that customer, but everyone, that you value all your customers and their experiences, and you're showcasing your customer service. So if it gets sensitive, get the one-on-one alpha, take the conversation offline where you can. We had one question about the AI saying if you generate an AI response, does it automatically send out? No. The idea behind the AI technology in the response generation is to just get you started. It's like basically if you ask someone, hey, how would you respond to this? And they send you a paragraph, you get a choice to choose to send that, or edit it or change it. The whole idea behind AI response in that technology is essentially say, where do I get started? Or how would you, just kind of get those wheels turning. And then from there, try to make it personal and create that personal one-on-one conversation. That it's ironic I say one-on-one conversation, because even though it is a one-on-one conversation, it's viewed by the whole public. So it's not really a one-on-one conversation. So these are great questions. We have time for about one more. One's a ranking one. This is a fun question. So this customer says, they have a large number of views, even more so than the people that rank above them. What is happening? How come they're not ranking higher? Here's where Google is being Google, or Facebook. I imagine Google, they didn't give context, but if you are trying to build your SEO ranking and specifically your placement on reviews, Google has ways in order to do that. One, you can sponsor it. And by sponsoring it, you're essentially paying pay-per-click ads, and you're doing it through the review functionality in order to place higher. Now, obviously, image, this will always show as sponsored, but that is where you do have the opportunity to pay to try to increase your reviews and show up higher. And it does get a little frustrating when someone with a lower amount of reviews from you, or you feel a lesser star rating from you, it ranks above you, but that is also because they're paying for it. Now, they will always show that it is sponsored, but one way and strategy, if you're finding that you are consistently below people that you want to be above, you can go the pay route in order to try to increase that ranking just a little bit to get you up there. But ultimately, Google does look at recency. How many reviews do you have? Not just in general, but recent. Are they coming in frequently? And what's your star rating? And it's also important to remember it will always be geographically located. So where that person is looking for, depending on the areas of that business, they're going to place higher weight on how close that location is to that individual search. And so there are a couple strategies on how you try to increase your ranking. But yes, it does happen where you can have a great star ranking and someone still shows up above you. Always double check and see if that's sponsored or not. If it's not, then there's other areas that they're probably going into that, like frequency and location. Okay. Well, it's already 12. It's already over 30 minutes. Not quite about 30 minutes, but thank you so much for your questions. I absolutely love talking about this topic. If you have additional questions, you can go to getweave.com to learn more about our review process. You can see our demo, or if you want to personally reach out and ask a question, you can get me at Ryan, RYAN.White, WHIT, at getweave.com. That's Ryan.White at getweave.com. I'm happy to answer more questions about the review process and tactics and strategies to utilize reviews better for your practice. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and I hope you have a wonderful day.